Hi everyone, welcome to my video series titled Communism 101, a series which, as the name implies, was created exclusively to enhance and to enlighten the viewer's perception on the inroads made by communists and by communism into our great nation. My sole mission today is to raise awareness among all Americans as to the clear and present dangers now looming in our horizon, especially the young men and women in the nation who will, in the end, inherit the reins of this, the greatest nation on the face of the earth. Foremost to this narrative is my commitment, or a commitment that I have made to search for the truth. The priority in this video and in all my videos is to be factual and genuine in all the material presented, albeit as I am a firm believer that the success and or failure of the message conveyed relies mostly on the authenticity of the facts relevant to all the talking points presented herewith. To that end, while searching for all those truths, is that I came upon the work done by someone who I consider one of the, if not the most knowledgeable, educated, and well-informed persons in the subject matter of communism in the United States. His name is Trevor Loudon.
My good friend, Trevor Loudon.
The year was 1984. Ronald Reagan had decided to seek a second term. Carl Lewis set a world record for the indoor long jump. And in my home country of New Zealand, our socialist Labour government had destroyed our military alliance with the United States. They decided to ban nuclear warships from our harbours.
I met and interviewed security experts, even former New Zealand communist spies. I discovered that my country's national security had been betrayed by enemies within. This sparked 20 years of research into communism. It drew me inevitably to the movement's #1 target, the United States of America. The underside of American politics became my new focus. I began touring America, scouring communist archives in your libraries. I started sharing this vital information with anyone who would listen.
As I continued my research, I was shocked to find that the same underground culture that had infiltrated and reshaped New Zealand was also infiltrating every American institution. What was once considered the American dream is now considered xenophobic, racist, and fascist.
As an outsider, I could see that the future of this great country is now hanging in the balance.
My fellow Americans, if nothing else, the one most important message which I would like for you to take away from this video is the fact that communism is alive and well in our nation. It is, I'm sorry to say, ingrained in all the fabrics of our society. It is entrenched in the media, in our schools, but worst of all, it is deeply rooted in our government, in the halls of Congress, in the domestic intelligence and security services of the nation, and many other sensitive organizations, any one of which can at a moment's notice, independently or jointly, destroy our great nation and all that it stands for. My fellow Americans, since 9/11, we have concentrated most of our efforts in guarding the nation against foreign terrorism, as well we should. However, I say that it's time now to devote as much as we can of our resources in guarding ourselves from the domestic enemies from within our own nation. The time has come for unveiling the enemy from within. At the outset, may I say that I, like Mr. Luden, believe that the future of this great nation is now hanging in the balance. Our nation's changes in the last 20 years have been unprecedented.
With the seeming disappearance of the Soviet threat, why would Americans care about communism any longer? What if those communists had simply morphed into progressives or democratic socialists?
If a person is hostile to communism, it's because of capitalist propaganda. So why would you walk up to somebody and tell them the whole truth? It would just alienate them, and it would be premature to do so. Much better to find a way to unite with them and to hide your long-term intentions until they were ready to hear them.
Whatever problem you have, they always somehow bring it that the solution is socialism. They take advantage of people's vulnerabilities and their needs.
Democratic socialism is like stage 1 cancer. Even in Sweden, France, or Germany, it keeps slowly growing and will always eventually morph into terminal communism. America's largest communist organization is 7,000 strong, 60 chapters nationwide, Democratic Socialists of America. Like all communists, DSA wants to abolish all private business and start a workers' revolution.
I'm a democratic socialist, probably because when I was 14, I read the Communist Manifesto. I believe that the working class is an agent of revolutionary change and that our society needs to see a revolutionary transformation.
Based on the theories of Italian communist Antonio Gramsci, DSA seeks communist revolution through infiltration of America's leading institutions, cultural, religious, and political.
The Democratic Socialist Party has infiltrated many members in both the Senate as well as in the House of Representatives. In the House, they have members such as New York Congressman Jerry Nadler, Chicago's Danny Davis and Jen Schakowsky, Californians Karen Bass and Maxine Waters, Iowan David Lopsack, Eleanor Holmes Norton from the District of Columbia, Alan Grayson from Florida, Joan Lewis from Georgia, and Gwen Moore and Mark Pocan from Wisconsin. DSA's Senate friends include Barbara Mikulski from Maryland, Debbie Stabenda from Michigan, Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey from Massachusetts. DSA's greatest success has undoubtedly been presidential candidate Bernie Sanders from Vermont. The DSA's closest ally and vehicle in the takeover of the Democratic Party has been the Communist Party USA. It is common knowledge that the communists influence the Democratic Party's politics using tactics such as helping with the election and re-election of politicians. In Washington State, Communist Party leader Tim Wheeler worked hard to elect Patty Murray, a longtime communist favorite. In Ohio, Communist boss Rick Nagin has run several times on the Democratic Party ticket and works closely with former Congressman Dennis Kucinich. In Minnesota, top Communist Party leader Mark Frumke has close ties to Senator Amy Klobuchar and Al Franken, and to Governor Mark Dayton. In Arizona, Congressman Raul Grijalva and Kirsten Sinema got their political starts in Communist Party circles. The Communists are very close to California's Barbara Lee, who has been to Cuba over 20 times. Top-ranking member on the Homeland Security Committee, Representative Benny Thompson of Mississippi, has worked with several Communist Party's fronts. In Texas, Armed Services Committee member Mark Vasey works very close with leading Dallas communist Gene Lantz. Connecticut Armed Services Committee Joe Kearney has also Communist Party connections. Another senior Connecticut Democrat, Rosa DeLauro, is co-chair of the House Democratic Steering and Policy Committee, where she appoints fellow Congress members to influential House committees. In August 2010, Rosa DeLauro keynoted a conference at the Connecticut Communist Party headquarters with her good friend Joel Fishman, who shares the Connecticut Communist Party USA. My fellow Americans, please take my message today very seriously. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever, none, to have anyone in the nation holding an office in our government who has any ties to communism. None whatsoever. Let alone having a communist running for president of the United States of America. There should be no room in our nation whatsoever to have the likes of a Bernie Sanders as member of the U.S. Senate, and let alone making a run for the presidency. Nor is there any room for the likes of the infamous squad composed of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashid Tlaib. Four women who have overtly expressed their disdain, their condescension, and disparagement for the United States of America and all that our nation stands for. It is absolutely necessary to go back to basics in vetting anyone running for office and denying those who have any ties to communism before letting them run for any post in the government of the United States of America. My fellow Americans, the choice is ours. May God save us, and may God save the United States of America. Thank you.